there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, is your fundicative program where we have fun and learn about issues that concern our lives. My name is Comfort Okran. Today, if you are like me, when you go to the watches cellar, it must be in the leaf or there's no action, or your gobe must go into that special leaf. And sometimes I used to wonder, what is in that leaf? But I knew that my water is not the same without it. Today we will find out why it is so important and why you should even be using it in your kitchen for your banku and for your anything that you cook. You know, even the Nigerians, they use it for their moi moi. So let's find out why, how, and where we can get our own edition in our homes. And then, who knows? In fact, actually, it's also something that you can use, or you can actually use commercially. So you can go into this production as well, and you can get some really interesting facts about that. So here, today on the Springboard Hangout, which, as you know, is in partnership with the Ghana Grows Program, which is one of our initiatives in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation and Limehouse. Today be today. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
For so long, we've been here. We've been trying to break free.
Welcome back to the Springboard Hangouts, which is an initiative of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation and Limehouse. Today is all about wache leaves. You want to find out why, and we are in Kanda today with Mr. John Quartey. He is a biologist, a researcher, someone who has worked in it for over 30 years. If you want experience and if you want to know the science behind the leaves, here we are. So we are in his home today, so let's listen. Hi, and welcome to the Springboard Hangout today.
Hello, Comfort. Good to meet you here and to talk to you. I think I'm going to enjoy chatting with you after all that you've said. My name is John Segu Quartey. I did agronomy in the United States, and I enjoy working with all kinds of useful plants.
Useful plants.
Useful plants. And so today we're going to have a good conversation about all these things.
So, do you mind telling us what led you, give us a little background story about Mr. John Quartey?
Right. I was born here, right, in Ghana, in Achimtafo. I went to Achimota School. In 1973, I worked with my father for a year. With my father for a year in the fishing industry. Then I went to America in 1974 to do a diploma course in farm management operations, because then I just wanted to be a farmer.
You just wanted to be a farmer?
Right.
Why?
Because when I was young, about 7, 8 years old, I used to visit one Mrs. Hilden Nettie, the late Mrs. on a farm at Mankrong. I used to hang out with her children, and I enjoyed it so much. Sometimes we walk 9 miles to the cocoa farm, but it was fun. And she had goats from Israel, from Egypt, and everywhere on the farm at Mankrong. Yeah, even in those years. Yeah. And we always drank pasteurized goat milk and stuff. So it was like, wow, what lifestyle. It was really interesting. So I decided I wanted to farm. And so right after my O-levels, I told my dad, no, I'm going to go to America to learn how to. So I went to Iowa, northwestern part of Iowa. That's where most of the corn in the world is produced. It's all farmland. So I was there for 2 years, 2.5 years. I spent 3 years in America. Immediately I finished, I came back to Ghana, and I farmed in the central region, planting corn. it was not as interesting as I wanted it to be because we went back to using the cutlasses and stuff. Although we're farming 300 acres, we didn't have the equipment we needed. I had bulldozers clear out, go and get tractors to plow, but we didn't have.
For the harvesting and so on
And we
and so forth.
planted corn, yes. I was signed to the Ghana Seed Company at the time. Sometimes it would take over 12 months to get paid.
Oh no.
So after 3 years, I decided, well, I want to be a scientist.
Okay.
I don't just want to be a farmer. So I went back to America in 1980 to become an agronomist. I went to Illinois State University, and that's where I studied agronomy. At the end of it, when it was, I was done by 1983, but I worked in America for a few years. I worked for a seed company that was called Funk Seeds, owned by then Sibegege, which is now Syngenta. Yeah, I worked with them for a while in Bloomington, Illinois. Later, I went to other places. And then I came back to Ghana, worked as a consultant in Liberia for a big plantation, a 32,000 acre farm in Lofa County. Then I came back to Ghana, and my father was into all this. He's an agricultural statistician, a business guy, and a politician too, anyway. So he was then into these botanicals, exporting these botanicals, and I got interested in it. So in the 90s, I started doing my own. He passed away in 96, and I went full into exporting these medicinal plants.
So you're telling me that them botanicals are medicinal plants?
Well, when we talk about agriculture, we deal with basically food crops that we grow. But when we get into botanicals, all plants, but then we choose the useful ones, the ones that we think have. So in Ghana, for instance, there are two major exports. There is Vocanga africana. Basically, when it's sent out, they extract certain ingredients that are used for memory. And then we have Griffonia simplicifolia, which is probably one of the biggest exports. They extract what they call 5-HTP. It's an antidepressant. That's the same thing as Prozac. And that is why, at the end, we ended up with what we are doing now. We've been in the botanicals industry for a while. 98, we got the first gold award, export award from Export Promotion for medicinal plants. Yes, the first company to get it. I got that award. I remember my wife picked it up for me. It was 1999. And yes, we've not quit since then. But then in 99, there was a big crash.
What happened?
We were into this thing, like I said, Griffonia, and the big company that was producing this Prozac, Eli Lilly, they came out with a statement that 5-HTP, which is from Griffonia, causes blood clots, so it's going to kill people. Of course, there was panic in the whole system, yes, in the market, and then 2-3 years later, Cornell University came up with the real
Findings.
yes. Yeah.
So what was the real finding?
Well, they found out that yes, it was true. At 100% pure 5-HTP, yes, you could have blood clot problems. But nobody uses 100%, not even 10%.
Exactly.
So that's where the problem lies. So there's a little truth, but
Totally blown out of proportion.
Yes,
and sometimes what happens is people get a tiny little truth and they kind of go to the market with that, and it doesn't reflect what the reality is.
So that really is what happened. And so the market collapsed here. Many people were out of business, many of us. And I promised myself I wasn't going to export raw materials anymore.
What did that path lead you to next?
Well, so I started doing some research. I was in Koforidua. I started doing my own research. I was using my kitchen.
Your kitchen?
Yes. And my living room was just full of plants. I remember then Swiss ambassador, one Dr. Peter Schweizer, who had been encouraging me, invited us for dinner, my wife and I, and everybody was telling my wife, oh, be patient with him. He'll get there soon. I remember I was very interested in people. One of the areas that I found very interesting was natural sweetness.
Natural
Sweetness, yes. And then I wrote a little report for this Dr. Schweizer, and he was extremely excited because he could see a new economy
blooming
here in Ghana.
The natural sweetener that I know is stevia. So what natural sweetener do you have for us? That is not what I know about.
Stevia actually is from South America.
Okay.
And I have a friend who's probably the biggest planter of those things in Ghana. We are collaborating on something with stevia. But in Ghana, we have one, the miraculous berry, Syncypalum dulcificum, which everybody knows. It's a taste modifier. You eat it and everything is sweet.
Yeah, we have a name for it.
Miraculous berry.
No, the local name.
Tammy.
Tammy is
I
what
can't
we
say
know.
Asaba or Asu. And then we have, but in Ghana we have three.
Okay.
Native ones.
Okay.
From West Africa to Central Africa. We have one that everybody knows, the Syncypalum, the Tammy, the miraculous berry. We have this one here, which
Which one
yes,
is
I
this
want
one?
you to taste it. This is called serendipity, West African serendipity.
Okay.
That's the Ascophyllum. If you suck on it, the seed has got this silky sort of pulp around it, and you begin to experience a bit of sweetness. I've kept this for the last 3 weeks. The other ones you can't keep on your desk, and it's still got. Don't buy the seed, please.
No, the seed is safe.
It's better in the seed, but then this is another one. This is probably 1,500 times sweeter than sugar.
1,500 times sweeter than sugar.
Sugar, yes.
This one.
Yes. And that's, I told you, that's the one they call serendipity, but the botanical name is the Ascophyllum cuminsi.
We are going to do them by botanical. We're just going to do this.
And then the other one is the wache leaf. So
The
we started.
wache leaf is a sweetener?
Yes, that's where we started with the sweetener. And this is it. At the bottom of it, when it's fully mature, let's say from 2 years on, you're going to have this fruit at the bottom. That is Tomatococcus danieli. Each one of them has a sweet protein. The first one, the miraculous berry, has what we call miraculin. This one has monelin. And then this one is tomatin. And so tomatin is the sweetener from this. And so the wache leaf, we got into it because of the sweetener.
You got into the wache leaves because it's a sweetener.
Because of the sweetener.
Okay.
And we're researching things on the sweetener, how to extract and stuff. But then we realized we're not making any income on it.
Oh.
So we started selling the leaves. Yep.
But we have this in pots here.
Right.
Does it imply that if I come to you and then ask you nicely,
Yeah.
that can I have a pot or two, I can go home and start kind of
Yes.
growing my own?
Yes, and it grows beautifully if you take very good care of it. Within every 2 weeks or so, you might get 2 or 3 leaves coming up.
Big
Yes.
enough to be used?
Not in the beginning. It will take a while. It takes a few months before even the fruiting. The first year, no fruit will come. But when the flowers come, the flowers will usually come just during the rainy season, towards the end. 3 months later, the fruit comes. So we normally teach people how to take the fruit out, how to cut it open. We've trained over 50 women how to do this. And then take what we call the areole, which is the sweet part, separating the seed and the outer parts. And the areole is the sweet part. So if you plant it in your house, you can take the sweet part and use it in your sugar and whatnot. I've got some here that I sun dried. And then when I finish sun drying it, we just blended it. That's one thing I teach people to. If you have enough in your home, you can sun dry it and then just blend it into a powder, keep it in a jar.
Anytime you want some, you just take some.
Take a spoonful. No. This one is 3,000 times sweeter than sucrose. Yes, than sugar. Yes. There are small issues that we have with it in terms of formulation using in various products, because it's sometimes the taste of the sweetness comes a little late and then lingers on. So what we do is that we are formulating by mixing with others. There is a specific one too from Cameroon and Central Africa that we are working on. We are blending them with some of these ones here. But this itself, I think it's a great industry. I mean, after all, who wants to eat from plastics?
No. I mean, I hate plastics. I mean, when I see, sometimes when you go for events and you see banku, and the banku is in the plastic, and I know how they talk about you have different types of carcinogens coming into your food. So I always look at the banku in plastic with, this kind of eye.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Even with the sweetness, we got into it because people were using artificial sweetness. All kinds of carcinogens,
and that kind of
and
stuff.
all these carcinogens in there. So look, let's get into the natural stuff, because we have it around. And these things grow in the wild. But what we also found, the reason why we started farming was that we found that when we need large quantities, we're going to have problems.
Yes,
So
definitely.
we need to just start cultivating. That is how we started cultivating this.
So about how many acres of this do you have?
At the moment, we've got only 6 acres, but it's planted and now small. We have the small organic cocoa farm, and we've done it there. We are going to train some young farmers to copy what we are doing,
Okay.
because we think it's the future, and we don't want it in any place where you're going to spray with the usual cocoa chemicals. You use
You would like someone that is mainly organic.
organic.
So then you don't have.
We don't
any
want to
issues.
give you leaves that have chemicals in them.
Of course not.
So
course not.
when-
That is why people mostly, because it grows in the wild, and in the wild you don't have any chemicals being sprayed there.
That is it.
That is why. Oh, so it's possible for it to be cultivated as a plant on its own, especially if you're interested in harvesting the sweetener part of it. So this is a new product that can be grown commercially.
Yes, and that's why we've started. So, for instance, if you harvest too many of the leaves, you're going to lose the fruit under.
Really?
Yes, you're not going to get a good yield. So what we do is that, let's say we don't cut more than 50% of the leaves that are out there, so we have more leaves out there to use the energy. So,
I don't like that. Because if I'm home and I want to use it for my wache, and then I have just a small plant.
no, you see, this plant has got rhizomes underneath. If, let's say, you put 2 here, and you're patient enough, you're going to have it from here to, you're going to have about a 12 feet area covered by this. It would cover a whole area, if you don't harass it too much.
Okay.
But yeah, you're going to have tons of leaves, more leaves than you can use in a year. I love these leaves myself. And you see, the funny thing is the sweetener, the sweet part has no fat in it, but the leaf has a very high percentage of fat. So the leaf surface is a bit oily. When you clean it, when you wash it and clean it, it's a bit oily. And it works so well when you put food in it. That I guess God designed it that way for that purpose. But the natural leaf, that's what I've realized, that the surface is always a bit oily and nice.
Whenever you go to the watches, like when they've cleaned it, it's always oily. So now that you mention it, so I used to think that maybe they may have, adjusted it. But it seems from here today that.
Yes, the leaves, if you look at the percentage of oil in the leaves, the seed, and then the aril, the fruit, actually the protein, that is the sweet protein, has 0 fat. And the good thing also is no calories, it's almost 0 calories. So because these are peptides, they are proteins.
Okay.
They're proteins that you're dealing with. So it's not like carbohydrates or anything. And that's what makes it interesting.
So that means that if I take this and I'm able to harvest it, if I should say I'm on a weight loss diet,
Right.
this is the best thing to use for my diet.
This
because
is one of the best
to
things.
sweeten my things.
This is one of the
because
best
zero
things.
calories.
Yes.
Just like stevia.
Yes. Just like stevia, just like all these sweet proteins are 0 calories. I mean, for instance, the one we talked about before, Tammy, we have a project we're doing with that one. We're trying to make little tablets. And so just the sweetener. And if you want to eat like grapefruits for breakfast, those who want to lose weight, you take one tablet, like it, and then you can have 2 big grapefruits, which will be sweet. And then after a couple of hours, after you drink very hot coffee, the sweetness will go away. You know, or after 2 hours or so, the sweetness will go away. So this is very interesting, but I find this to be the most useful one because of the leaf. The leaf then gives us a little bit of income rather than just going on and working, doing the research with no income coming in.
Okay. So you've been harvesting your leaf and selling it.
Selling a few leaves, yes. We have a few people been coming for them, but also we are working on how to use the leaves so that we will buy the leaves from everybody and then use them ourselves in a very useful way, very profitable way, so that people can eat from these leaves at their homes without worrying about going to the market to buy them. We want to make sure every Ghanaian household eats from these leaves in a very nice way.
I understand that you can make other products from this. What other products can you get from the waakye leaves?
Well, for now, I mean, many people have come to me. We have enough information showing that there are medicinal products in there. It's a sedative. It's this, but this one is the one I want you to come and visit me next year because we want to introduce this as a bioplastic, where we would be manufacturing disposable plates and cutlery and cups and all from this. The leaf.
You actually hope to turn this into a biodegradable.
Right. Instead of normal plastics, it will be something that is biodegradable. Just this leaf.
Just this leaf.
Yes, and then we would compact it, put it together with a natural combining product, something that will hold it together.
And so we don't need to buy those other the cups, disposable cups that actually are harmful to our environment.
You don't need to buy styrofoam or plastic stuff. It will all be this. The only other ingredient I might add is a natural starch.
Wow.
Yes, and that is the big dream.
Wow.
We are hoping that this will then transform the economy here because we don't need to import all those plastic plates and whatnot.
Don't.
Yeah. So that
next year it's a date.
Next year we would meet again, and then when we are launching it, we want Springboard to come there and join us. Because yes, you've come here when the thing is not even out. But this leaf, I think, is it's a gift from God for us, and we can do a lot with it. And that is why we have our laboratory. We'll be launching products every month of next year, different products. But this is the one that the big dream. This waakye leaf is the thing, the infamous or famous waakye leaf. You know,
I love it.
People don't take it serious. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, waakye leaf, yeah, but.
There's a lot going forward.
And that's why we're going to need to get many people to farm it, because the quantities we'll need, be mind-blowing. We're going to need tons and large acreages of this. I think it's $1 billion business to just have disposables that are made from this thing.
I love that. But this is a call out to you. we're talking about having young people who have a dream of, let's say, going to farming and wondering what's a product that when you go into it doesn't have a lot of people, but you would have a good outcome there. This is something that you should think about. This is Waakye leaves here, and you would get I believe they can get the seedlings from you.
Yes, you can get seedlings from me. We have a lot out there, but I always have some here in Kanda because friends keep asking, and everybody wants to have some in their home. And it's like, yeah, there's nothing bad about having something like this in my backyard.
So we're going on a quick break now. When I come back, we'll look at how young people can take advantage of this product and grow not just their own but be part of Mr. Quarte's dream of having biodegradable plates, cutlery, everything from Waakye leaves. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
For so long, we've been here. We've been trying to break free.
This is my favorite part of going for Waakye, when I see them take the leaf, slap another one into it, and then they start dishing my food into it. Then I come home, and as I open it, the aroma from the leaves just hits me. I really, really love the aroma. And this is the Waakye leaves we have been talking about on the Springboard Hangouts today. Welcome once again to the Springboard Hangouts. It is an initiative of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, and as you know, we are partnering with the Ghana Grows Program, which is in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation and Limehouse. Today we've been talking all about botanicals. Botanicals are agri products that are useful to us, not necessarily the food products that we get like corn and plantain and so on and so forth. This one is just leaves, and you think that there's nothing in it. Man, next time you go to your Waakye seller, ensure that it is put in the original and not the fake ones that they use. Anyway, before we went on the break, John was telling us that we are hanging out with Mr. John Quarte. John was telling us that indeed even though it's we can use the leaves there's more we can get out of this leaf. And what is the process? How do we get the sugar? What's the process of harvesting? And let's say, having heard you, I decide that, okay, I'm going to plant it. And you're saying that the rhizomes are such that within, let's say, a year or two, I should have quite a substantial.
Spread around. Right, wherever you put it. You can, like, most of these are coming from little shoots that come on the side, suckers or whatever, that come on the sides of the plants. They spread quite quickly.
So how do I harvest the sweetener? Now I don't want to use sugar again. I want to harvest it from my own home and preserve it. How do I do it?
So what you do is, some of it comes right on the surface of the soil, some of it is in the soil. The fruit comes in the soil. You just clear around it. If you've got any pruning stuff, you just clip off that fruit, 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you can get from each plant. You clip them off, and then you take it home, wash them, cut the fruit open. There is a seed in it. You separate the seed and the outer part, the whole pericarp, you separate them. But there's a little area in there, it's whitish, it's fleshy, that we call the areole. That part is where the sweetener is. And so you can use it as is, but I advise people to, if you have enough of them at home, dry them, air dry them. There'll be a bit of oxidation, the color changes. Then you just blend it and put it in a jar, and you have your sweetener that you can use the whole month or the whole year.
This is a portion of that he has done at home here,
yes,
to show us. And it's, because as he said, it has some oxidation properties if you air dry it. so or sun dried. So it's a little bit brownish, and you can barely see from my finger how much I've taken, but I've just taken a little bit. And it's better than sugar. I can tell you, verify without, okay, I'm using another finger because this is, my dear. You know, there are some people who say they can't do without sugar. I beg. From the Springboard Roadshow to you, for free. Come and get some leaves or come and get some plants, right? Plant it in your backyard. In a year's time, I'll come and take the sugar that you have created in your own home because you took our advice. So that's for the hangout. We always have something special for you. So this is your sugar that will last you. How long will this last?
When it's properly dried in this form, it should be able to last 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
No, you mean this amount?
Oh, no, I'm saying that in terms of that it will not go bad for a period of 24 months. But no, this, depending on what you do and then how much sweet stuff you want, how much you use. You know, what you do with it. My brother, who comes before me, I sent him some. He lives in Houston. He's been in the US for, next year will be 50 years. And he had a problem with his shoulder. He's had this problem for the last 2 years. He called me and said, John, do you know, I just decided to put, well, he was fasting. He said, I was fasting, so I decided to put some of this in water and drink. I woke up and the pain is gone.
No. This one is too good to be true.
It's gone. Well,
No, it is too good to be true. No, it is too good to be true.
I cannot say, but you see, I've got some villages. One of the guys who worked with me lives in Brahmane Umaso. And the first time we did some of this, he took a couple with him. I usually give a few out to those who work with us. And he said, a lady came complaining that she had very serious low abdominal pains. And the lady up to today is confessing that when she ate this stuff, but I'm not saying it, I'm not promoting it as a medicine, but I'm saying this is what we hear from people. These are testimonies that come out.
Do you mind me taking some away?
Oh yes. Actually, if you don't mind, if it will not be, I want to give you the one that we packaged it even in the office. My wife put the seal on it, the label and seal of Tomatin. Because I just wanted to see that. Remember the day you came here? Yeah.
No, because as you know, at certain ages, you know, you.
Yeah. So yes, my brother just tried it and just told me, look, John, and I didn't give it to him for that. I gave it to him as a sweetener. He said, yes, but when I drank the water, my shoulder pain is gone. You know, another guy was talking, the plant itself, the leaf itself, has certain qualities. According to, we have this special book that everybody botanicals use, certain useful plants of Ghana by Abil.
I don't have any reason because I really don't take sugar. I don't take sugar.
Yes,
basically because of the bad aspects of it. Yeah. So if I know that I now have sugar.
This is all my wife uses right now.
So if you're doing your sobolo and so on and so forth, we just come to you and say, okay, we want let's say one kilo or so of this.
Yeah.
And we know that as not only will our sobolo be sweet, but we would have probably some really good medicinal properties in our sobolo.
That is it. Yeah. So that's what we are talking about. That look, we have the natural ones. Why use artificial sweetness? We have, the other fruit you ate, the sweetener, and there's monolin. I remember in the 90s when I started looking at it, Japanese brewery was making a synthetic version of it. Everybody's promoting theirs. You have monk fruit and so forth. I still think this, in its real natural form, is sweeter than any of them. And it's from the simple wache leaf. You know, nobody respects the watch leaf.
Oh, no. They're going to start respecting it now. Do you respect the watch leaf? That's the new promo that Springboard will be running. Will you respect your watch leaf?
Yeah, seriously. And so you see this thing, I don't know, but I know that we have all kinds of qualities, if nothing at all. If you are diabetic, because this has zero glycemic age. That means that no sugar, absolutely no sugar in this. It's a protein. There's no sugar in it. But it, like I said, is 3,000 times sweeter than sucrose. And there are wonderful things we have out here. People are just not working on them yet. But when we do, like I said, Griffonia, for instance, I want to extract the 5-ATP, but focus on the African market for now. Focus on selling our products right here in Africa, because I think there's a big enough market, and we have own controls and things. We will invite you, like I said, next year. We are going to be launching next year lots of products, including well-being, medicine cells, yes. But this, to me, is the very special one. This
is the gold.
This is the gold. This is the gold. The sweetener and the leaves.
I have a friend, Preba Aka. She is into chocolate. She manufactures chocolate in her place, and she actually developed a diabetic one.
Okay.
Which is good for those who are diabetic. And you know, when I open this, the smell is almost like chocolate. I don't know if this is what she uses for her diabetic chocolate.
What did you say? The last name was Aka?
Aka, yes.
She might then be from Winneba. If she is, then they can find our lab very easily. Anyway, we are around the roundabout. Yeah, we are around Winneba.
So for those who are into chocolate, I think I can almost say that this would be the best sweetener for your chocolate. Take away the sugar, come for this wache leaf root sugar, and I can assure you.
And this is the sweetener here, is tomatin.
Tomatin. Okay, come for this tomatin, and I can assure you, your chocolate will not only be as healthy because you are using our Ghana chocolate, but now you are using a sweetener that does not have any side effects. I can assure you, the sales of your chocolate will simply shoot through the roof. And this you got on Springboard Hangout, here with Mr. John, who is focused on coming up with the tomatin sweetener, straight from wache leaves. No bend, no curve.
Thank you. I have confidence in this plant, and like I told you, we are working on formulations where we are combining different ones. We believe that we are going to get the perfect one maybe in the next few months. We are bringing the one from Cameroon.
Okay.
And that is slightly different, and we'll combine with what we have here and stevia and see what we get. These are cultural things. We've always had this in our villages. People have always eaten them. That's how we get to know them.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we get to know
But
them.
now it's making it into commercial quantities.
And so, like, some of these people come and investigate it. Like Monolin, which is the name for the other one, the other sweetener, was named after somebody in the West, you know. So, yeah, so, like, University of Wisconsin came in, they thought they had discovered the sweetener, which was a native thing to the local people in Cameroon and Gabon and the forest areas. It was called Brazil. And Brazil has very interesting qualities too, and we are going to, in future, combine them with some of these things. So again, it's a very interesting, very, very interesting times we are in. It's good to be alive at this time.
So, John, if I look at what you do presently, it seems to me that as at now you're not selling commercially.
Let me put it this way: we are focused on R&D. So when you go to a lab, we'll have prototypes there. Now they move from the research and development into production is another thing. There's a big gap. And that's where we are now. That's where we are now. We are open to start full commercial production, most of our things, early next year. But we will release one item at a time. We've got things that we've done. When we are sure it's okay, then we are going to send samples to Mampong and FDA. FDA, yes. And then we'll come out fully. And we'll let them all help us with packaging and everything every advice they give us. We want to be world class.
You know, I found it interesting when you said your R&D. Usually, you hear about organizations doing, and there's no R&D. But why have you flipped the process, and you have your R&D leading?
I think if you want to change things in this world, how do you start doing the thing that you don't even know? You must first research and then create something. And so that's what we've been doing, trying to create things. And I'll tell you, the truth is that when I was a teenager, I worked with my dad for a year. I told you before I went to America. It's in the fishing industry. And I remember I asked him certain questions. In the 90s, we had another discussion. This was way back then. And I said, why is it that every 5 to 10 years, the leader in this industry changes? I don't think I got a good answer.
But you believe that it's because of R&D?
I think that people should accept that businesses evolve.
Businesses, actually, let me rephrase it for you. Businesses must evolve.
They must. And if you don't evolve, you die.
Yeah.
If you don't die, you become sort of
Atrophy.
just hanging. Yes, some kind of atrophy. Yes, it would die. There'll be a process like sort of necrosis. So, if you want to stay relevant, then R&D should be a big part. I mean, in agriculture, I remember hearing a lot of Ghanaians saying that the palm trees in Malaysia and Indonesia were taken from Ghana and Nigeria. When I was in the university, I lived in the international house, and I had this Malaysian roommate for a period. And he told me, yes, it's true. But he said all the big farms have big labs.
All the big
Farms have laboratories on the farm. And all they're working on is new products to increase their market. We don't do that here. So that's where the problem is. It's not whether they took it or they didn't take it. What have you done since then? What can you use the palm for? You don't have to go and copy these people. So that's where the problem lies. We must go into research and development.
Must go into research and development. So, talking about, that's in a sense, talks about the extended value chain.
Right.
The fact that it's not just the production, it's not just the adding the value, but the fact that there's a part that looks at how can we improve this by doing some research, doing some more development of new products to ensure that we increase the cycle, that this particular leaf that we are used to, that we can, so we no longer use it in this primary stage, but now we have plates that you'll be coming off.
That is the idea. You see, I was talking to a friend yesterday. He's a farmer, and he's been extracting coconut oil from coconuts. And he was talking, he's in Central Jimango, and he was talking about going to a farm place to plant coconuts. And I said, yes, do you really want to do that? And I said, what's your expertise? Have you considered even peanut oil? Maybe you should be an expert in oil. You can import oil from peanuts, not just from Ghana. You can buy from Gambia. This is their biggest export.
Exactly, that's true.
You see, so I was telling him, just go and find out what you can do. Just after take advantage and see if you can bring this from Gambia and become the expert in oils. Doesn't have to be only coconut. I've seen, I remember when we were younger, you had photocopying, they said, I'm going to Xerox this, right? And Canon was only a camera company. They didn't make cameras.
Yeah.
Well, but then they had expertise in the lenses. And now they're producing more photocopiers than Xerox. I think it's always going to be like that. And,
So that's life.
and so if we don't research into these things, we're going to sit there and people will come and jump ahead of us. And there's so much that can be done.
You just talked about giving your friend of yours another perspective.
Right.
Now I want you to find out. You have been a farmer all your life.
Right.
Do you, based on the learnings that you have gleaned over the years, do you have anything that you'd like young people to know or to think about as they decide, okay, now I've heard so much, I've watched Springboard Hangouts, and I've decided to go into farming? Do you have any advice for young people who want to go into farming to ensure that they succeed in their ventures?
Right. Agriculture can be extremely lucrative, but when you're going into it, don't gamble.
Don't gamble.
Yes, I remember when I went to America first, I lived with the most prosperous farmer. I lived on a farm where we were planting 5,000 acres of corn and soybean. And we fed 10,000 cattle in a year. We had feedlots. There were 3 people.
3 people
3 people.
taking care of
The old man himself, his son, and I.
taking care of a 5,000 acre farm.
Yes, and we fed 10,000 cattle. And I was going to school.
So it's not like
At dawn 4 a.m., I come, I work, drive. They gave me a car immediately I got there. So I drive to school, come back, work, try and harvest planting seasons. When we are plowing, we work till 12 midnight. But it's not so much the hard work. It was very hard work, but that's not the issue. People should not come up with these romantic ideas about farming. It's all hogwash. If you're going to go into farming, it's a pure business, and see it as any business. This old man I'm talking about, every morning, he just finished high school, but every morning he take his Wall Street Journal and read it. And that's what made him the richest farmer around the whole area. Because he was selling some of his products on the futures market, and he knew what he was doing. When you're going into agriculture, every young person, there are these 5 things I want you to know. Number 1, make sure you have a market for your products. I have a pastor friend. I have a association of pastors here, including myself. And this pastor friend was going to buy corn to sell. He said, I've got cheap corn here. I said, can you sell it? Oh, the woman said to buy all. I said, are you sure? Only $100. He couldn't sell. He went into debt. Number 1 is the market for a product, any business. But more so in agriculture, because the things could go bad.
Especially if you don't add value to it.
If you don't add any value to it, things could rot. Number 2, like anything else, is capital. If you've got a poultry farm and in the middle of the season there's a disease outbreak or you run out of money, how do you feed them? Capital is extremely important in agriculture. It's expensive to farm. See, it's expensive to farm. And anybody who wants to farm should really learn a lot. But number 2 is this one. And number 3 is if there are plants, make sure you get the best planting material. That will determine your yield. Because I do cocoa, I went to various places to check on cocoa seedlings. There was one in Tafo, very interesting one. I've been to Creek, I go to Creek often. One in Tafo, owned by a company called Tree Global. And they do it for this confectionery company, starts with an M. They're here in Ghana. Actually, here in Canada, they have an office here.
Mansa Gold?
Which one?
Mansa Gold?
No, this one's a huge, one of the biggest companies in the world.
Okay.
They even own this Alberoni, this
Okay. Oh, wow.
They own Cadbury.
Okay.
They own Cadbury now. Everybody knows them. They are us anyway. They brought them in, so they plant their seedlings. And when I saw the seedlings, they looked so different. They looked so healthy, so beautiful. I could get free seedlings from government, but I went to buy these.
You went to buy that?
Yes.
Because that was the best on the market.
And the agronomist there became a very good friend. He's left now. He showed me, for instance, he had planted a cashew tree that was bearing fruit in 9 months.
9?
Yes, he hadn't done anything. It was just the good treatment. It was the way he handled them. So what I'm saying is, if it's livestock, you make sure that you start
good livestock.
Very good stock. Very, very good.
Don't cut corners.
It can determine 50% of your yield.
Just by having the right
thing. Best quality stuff. If you have, like pigs, maybe they have a litter of 20, you're going to probably get 1 or 2 runs. And those runs will remain runs.
But if you don't take them out, if you don't cull them and you leave them there,
yes. And then also you should also know that when you bred the little pigs and they're growing and all that, what do you want the pigs for? The lighter skinned ones make good mothers. The reddish ones have the best meat, the Duroc. They have the leanest meat. So you should know what you're doing. Number 4 is the kind of technology you use. I came from America in 1977 and had all the knowledge. I was excited. Feeding 10,000 cattle a year. And I rented bulldozers, I rented this, but I had to work with the villagers, buy cutlasses and give to them. It was disappointing. That's when I decided to go into the science of it. Because, yes, it's a bit frustrated when you've... So the technology you use determines so many things. Now the cocoa farmers who know what they're doing, for instance, I'll tell them, for instance, look, when the extension officer comes, find some young people around, don't wait for government. Let him train people how to pollinate. Cocoa is not pollinated by bees, you know that. They have special flies, Theobromine flies that pollinate them. So you need to have this technology. The guys should be able to prune, they should be able, even between the rows. Instead of planting anyhow and have people with cutlasses, you need to use maybe slashes. That would be faster.
Yeah.
One person can do the work of probably 20 people with cutlasses. So the kind of technology you use will also determine whether it is profitable or not. And water management is the final one.
Water management.
Right. There are 2 ways. If there's no rain, this plant, for instance, if there's no rain, the leaves die. So if you're going to harvest these leaves and make money from it, you must have an irrigation system. But there's the other side. When there's too much rain and your farm floods, you must have a way of draining it into a pond or lagoon. So you must have water management. When you have these 5 things, you cannot fail.
The big 5 from John. Number 1 starts with M, market. Number 2 is having the capital. Number 3 is ensuring that you have the right technology or the right way that you do the thing. Number 4 is the right source, or in this case, whether it's the right seed,
the quality of the planting stock or
that
livestock.
You start your production.
Right.
And then finally, water, not everywhere, but water in the right place at the right time, in the right quantity.
Exactly.
It's so key. If you want to go into production as a young person in farming, these things, don't leave them. I'm going to add number 6 because we learned that from him today. Research and development is so important. Don't forget to have that as a basis for all that you do in your farm management processes. So with that, we've come to the end of another highly informative Ghana Grows Springboard Hangout. Number one, this is so good. I would urge you, with the mercies of God, that please, either you grow it or when you go out now, please insist that I want the water leaves. I want the water leaves version. Number two, if you are fortunate enough to grow the water leaves in your home, you have the ability, you have the capacity that in about 2 years' time, you'll be able to actually harvest and dry and have your own sugar that smells so much like cocoa. In the end, this particular powder is very simple. Harvest it. We have the harvesting process in the video. You can watch it again to make sure that you're able to do it. Harvest it, sun dry it, and then just not blend, but put it in your food processor and process it into the powder.
Right.
And you use it in everything that you have. In fact, whilst we're doing this is my personal confession. Whilst we're doing it, I was thinking of the things that I'll be using the food I'll be putting it in when I leave here today, because I could think of sprinkling it on my salads.
Salads?
Yes.
You want them to taste sweet?
No. Sometimes when you have, let's say, a little bit of apple or berries or something,
you're right,
you can imagine if you sprinkle just a little thing on it.
It's true.
It will give the salad just such an extraordinary taste.
Yeah, raisins, for instance, do well in all those things. So
Exactly.
Yes, this will do the same.
So whilst we're doing the thing, I was thinking of my food I've been making out of this when I go. So, Sir John, we've been really, really privileged to be here with you, and we've learned so much. And this is gold, pure gold, sitting in our forest. Please bring the gold to your house so you will start harvesting gold in your own backyard. So thank you once again for watching the Springboard Hangout.